Hello, everybody. I'm back with another episode of Christ and Craft, the Minecraft Let's Play series, where we play a Minecraft Let's Play series and go through the Bible, reading chapter by chapter, verse by verse. So far, we've only gone through, this would be the third episode, and we've gone through Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 all the way through 13. And so I'm thinking I'm going to try to speed up a little bit, and by that I'm not going to like rush through anything, but I am probably going to kind of for the really important verses, like, which I think they're all really important, but I think for like the ones that require a little bit more explanation and talking, then we'll do that. For the ones that are more like kind of like the story, for like the stories of like effect, we'll kind of like, as I come up to certain verses, I'll explain a little bit more. But I think we'll for the most part give kind of like the overview of each verse or chapter, and then go through a little bit quicker, but I don't know for sure. So anyways, what we're doing today, if you can't tell, is I'm making a mob farm. So actually I'm gonna yeah, because I need a mob experience farm, because I want to enchant some of my armor, because I keep dying and getting killed. And so I kind of like, I was half tempted to just make like I don't know if they still work the same, but like just like an AFK fish farm. Um, the reason I'd want like the AFK fish farm is because, one, you get experience, but two, you get books. And so like but I don't know if they actually, I haven't set one up in like for the last like 3 or 4 updates, maybe even more. So I actually don't know if they work the same. But what am I doing? What I do know is that this works. So what I want to do is set this up. I'm going to actually start building this, and while I do that, it's just going to be a little speedy up of me building it while I'm reading the Genesis chapter 1, and then we're going to start in 14 and go through till the end of the stars and the moon and the sun. That's the creation account. That's what we're talking about today. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to get started on that right now. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth." Really quick note, how it says, "Let them be for signs and seasons." It is really clear in the Old Testament, giving of the law, that we're not supposed to do astrology. What that means, it's not to not look at the stars, and I'll give you a reason why I'm clarifying this. It's not saying don't look at the stars to know what time of year it is or how to get home, right? Like, it's not saying don't use the stars. God gave us the stars to know, like, signs and seasons. The signs part is an interesting part I'll get to in a second. The seasons is obviously, like, we can tell what time, like, what time of year it is and all that by like the constellations that we have. So it's really cool, but the coolest part is that God gave these things to us, and then we still distort reality. We distort, and we use it to be like, oh, you're a Leo, that means you're compatible with X, Y, and Z. And it's like, that's not what God gave these stars to us for. Especially when you consider that in the New Testament, so he's saying use them for signs, but not like your sign, like your astrological sign. That is actually what's warned completely against in the new, in the giving of the law, is don't use these things to like try to tell the future. Don't use these things to try to be a soothsayer or a witch or like a fortune teller. These are actually things that are directly said to be against. The signs that are expressed here are, well, quick example, there's a movie out called, it's an older-ish movie, it's called The Star of Bethlehem. This guy, so I can't remember the name of the Johannes something, I can't remember his full name, and I apologize, but he found out that the universe is basically a perfectly timed clock. Everything happens at the exact time at which it's supposed to happen, and it's all in like this perfect sequence. And so what they're actually able to do is there's a software, I don't know what it's called, but the software where you can actually look at the universe like in the past and know exactly where the stars are and what they're doing, what planets are doing, because it's so consistently perfect. Another note, that's not an accident. It's almost a joke. It feels funny to me how people say, yes, it's an accident. This perfectly timed universe that is completely, flawless in its timing, in its creation, happened by a complete and total random accident. That doesn't make sense from a purely like factual standpoint, that chaos never brings order. Okay, but this movie actually, the guy goes back, rewinding the universe essentially through the software, and tries to see during the birth of Jesus, during the time of Jesus' coming, what exactly was happening to in the stars. And it's awesome actually to see. Now I've looked into it. I've tried to find anyone refuting it because I thought, well, this guy could be lying, so let me look into it. And I read 15 or so articles about this specific topic, and a lot of which were talking about this guy. The movie is called Star of Bethlehem. I'll link it. There will be a link. And it said, and basically no one can actually refute what he's saying, right? Like, I don't have the software. I can't go check it myself, so I'm just reading other articles. But, people are just saying, well, yeah, these stars were maybe doing this, but, and then they had a bunch of reasons why they just made up. I think they're called ad hoc arguments. Like, they just make up arguments saying this is why it's not true. And then you look up why they say that, and it's like, they're not accurate. They're wrong. So, basically, I looked it up. I did my due diligence, tried to find somebody to disprove this guy. Couldn't find anybody. I'm kind of left to believe that he's at least somewhat accurate in his findings. The movie's awesome, but it basically shows that what the wise men were probably seeing in the night sky that was unique enough to get them to leave Babylon to head to Jerusalem to find the king of the world, the creator of the universe. It's awesome. It's seriously awesome. I will link it. Incredible movie. But I think that these are some of the signs that are referred to and then in Revelation there's other times where the stars could be used for signs. All right, heavens to give light on the earth. And it was so. Then God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. So he made all of the lights in that first little section I just got done talking about. And then when he says, then God made two greater lights, this isn't necessarily successional. It's not saying he made all of these lights that we don't see because then he made the sun, moon, and stars. It's saying there's it's just kind of part of the way that the Hebrew poetry works, but it's saying like overall he made all these lights and then he made these two lights specifically. And so when it's talking about the lesser light here, this is another argument I've heard people use to actually deny the Bible, saying, well, the moon's not a light, the moon reflects the sun's light. Oh yeah, you're right. And the Bible actually knew that because the word lesser here would be like a subservient light, like a light that requires a master. Like, I'm not kidding. The light, when it says lesser light, it's not saying a light that is like a light, more dim light. It is a light that's lesser than the main light, but it's actually a word that could be used for like a servant. Like, it's only basically like it's only capable of doing what it does underneath its master. That's like the sun. So the sun is the light, the moon. So this is like centuries before the telescope was invented. At least to our knowledge, we don't fully understand ancient technology, but before the telescope was invented, before we knew for a fact the moon was just reflecting the sun's light, and the Bible is already talking about it. This is the first chapter of the first book of the Bible. And God, okay, so yeah, to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the fourth day. I just love how God's so like consistently creating the world, the lights, the lesser light, the greater light. This is just such an awesome
as you can see,
chapter of the entire Bible.
Too bad of a spawner, I guess. I definitely need to light up a lot more of the world because like they're still spawning on the edges out there. I thought I went far enough. I thought I went high enough, but I didn't really count. I just kind of eyeballed it. That's why you're supposed to count. But I mean, they're still getting here. Let's see, I'm at level 9. Let's see. I don't want those creepers to blow up. So I did have one issue. No, 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 no. So I had an issue with the every like that. I thought I did. So 9 to 11. That's not super great actually. So I did do the height correctly, but you see where that plank is? I actually put some signs in some water to slow down their falling because like half the things were dying. So I wasn't getting the experience. I was getting the stuff. So I got some music discs, which is great. That thing that I put in there. Um, so anyways, yeah, I mean half the things were dying, so I just like put the water to slow them down. So now I have to hit them more times, but it's all good. So that's pretty much that. This is I'll leave a link to the video where this was made, and I've had better ones in the past. I don't know if maybe they don't like work the same anymore. But I only did one layer, and I'm gonna do a second layer and see if I can speed it up. Like just repeat that above it and see if I can speed it up at all. And if that helps, then great. But yeah, I definitely need to light up a lot more. But I'm kind of just running out of stuff. So okay. Hey, look, I got a golden helmet protection too. Sweet. I think that's gonna do it for today. This next video, actually, I am going to start enchanting some stuff, which means I need to do a little more mining. Look at that guy. Should I look at him? Should I look at him? No.